Hi everybody, Sayana. It's the 23rd of December today, and we are going to take a look at the energy we have for our Aries friends. So if you have Sun, Moon, or you're rising in Aries, this reading should be particularly illuminating for you. Like this. Let me think. Okay, so what we have here is these cards represent the energy of the recent past. So these could speak to the things that you have dealt with the last several months to about half a year. And these cards largely represent the energy that you will be predominantly working with from today through end of winter, so towards about end of March. And on the bottom we have advice cards for you guys. And I'm looking at the energy for the recent past. I'm getting a very strong feeling that some of you, there was a situation that some of you really wanted to sort of get out away from. Maybe it was a relationship that you just reached a point one day and you say, you know what, it's over for me. But you haven't figured out quite how to let the other person know yet. And you sort of have been toiling with different ideas and brainstorming, trying to figure out the best time and the best way to tell your partner. Or maybe you've already decided that you no longer want to be in your current work situation, but you haven't quite worked up the courage to either A, tell your work that you're leaving and you no longer want to stay, or B, you're still trying to figure out the details as to where to go next. Should you stay in the same city, look for another job? Should you go to a different job altogether? These could be some of the things that you are trying to work out for yourself mentally. There's an element of maybe you've decided and you are not quite ready to share it yet. Share that idea yet or your plan, and you're sort of still hiding it a little bit. That seems to be the energy. Or on the flip side, this card could be that someone's trying to conceal a situation from you guys. So maybe your work is going through rework and they haven't quite, told you what their plans for you, for your next, I guess, post-rework job is yet. Or maybe you have a roommate and in the next couple of months, the lease is coming up and they've decided they don't want to renew lease anymore or stay in the current apartment, and they haven't quite figured out what to tell you yet. And that seems to be one of the predominant energy that you guys have worked with in the last several months. And I can see that you guys were doing a lot of thinking or researching or reading, just trying to figure out, one, if this is in fact what you want, and then two, if this is the right approach, or you try to decide, I should say, what the right approach is to, I guess, do the big reveal or share it. So for example, maybe you've decided to move out of your current apartment, and then you have been actively looking at available housing near you, doing a lot of research, trying to figure out where you want to live, how close you want to live to work, your budget, what kind of amenities you guys want. There seems to be a lot of thinking and deciding and researching. And I can see that maybe you haven't quite made up your mind until quite recently, that where you finalized your research and then you finalized your plan where you finally sat down and say, you know what, I've done XYZ research. My options are 1, 2, 3. After reading and talking to people, I have decided this is what I'm gonna do. And I'm seeing that you're willing to take, maybe financial hit is not the right term, but I can see that some of you are willing to maybe leave some money on the table. I guess that's the best way to put it. So perhaps that you are thinking about moving out of your apartment, and by doing so, and by deciding to end the lease ahead of time, maybe you're walking away from your deposit, or maybe you're breaking the lease early and therefore you leave a little bit of money on the table, or you are working a job and this is sort of the trial period. That's just one example. And you decided that you don't want to continue the contract, and therefore you're walking away from a certain amount of money in terms of, like, I don't know, year-end bonus or something. There's some element of you're leaving something on the table and you're walking away from it. Or maybe you've decided to end a relationship and you're finally getting ready to communicate and let your partner know, and then you decided for whatever reason, maybe you're letting them keep, I don't know, your couch or a bike, or you decide to sell them the car you guys share below market price and sort of walk away from a certain amount of money because the city you're moving to next, you don't need a car. Or that's just one example of the type of energy I'm seeing. And over here, we have a continuation of the situation that you have dealt with recently, that you will be continue to work this energy, and the energy will evolve between now through end of March. And I'm seeing that as you're trying to, for some of you at least, as you're trying to finalize your plan, there's still a lot of moving parts. And as you're deciding this is the final thing you're going to do, you definitely feel a little bit of stress because, even when we make a decision that's right for us, all endings, there's a certain level of stress and nostalgia, I think that's associated with it. And it's clearly a situation that whether it's a job, relationship, or family situation, it's clearly a situation that has been causing you a certain amount of agita for a while, and it's continued to cause you stress as you are thinking to yourself, oh my God, is this how I want to tell this person? Is this how I want to approach the situation? What do I say? What do I not say? How do I make sure they don't overreact? How do I make sure they don't blow up on me? How do I put a little bit of, I can see that some of you literally want to put a little bit of distance between yourself and your situation. People always say when you're going to have a breakup, maybe you can have a breakup in like a public place to ensure that the drama can be like more contained. So that's just one example of some of the things that are actively going through your mind right now. You're literally thinking about options, stressed out about solutions. And I can see that very soon, maybe even by early to mid-February, things will almost feel like it's doing a 180 turn mentally for you. So if you've decided to leave a job, the second you hand in your resignation, I feel like your body literally will start to relax and you'll get less tense. And if you decide to leave a relationship, it almost feels instantaneously the second you communicate and have the breakup talk, you will feel right away that, oh my gosh, this is a decision. This is the right decision. I should have done this a long time ago. I'm going to be so much happier. In fact, both of us will be so much happier. That seems to be the energy at work here, that because you have freed yourself from a less than ideal situation, you're now actually on your path to get your happy ending. It's like the second you leave that crazy relationship, the sky turns blue and the sun shines and you just feel so much more free and more light. And that seems to be very much what the end cards are saying that yes, you'll probably stress right before you communicate the final decision, and as soon as you do it, it's almost like 1,000 pounds got lifted off your shoulders and you feel instantaneously more light. And I know that a lot of times that before we make the big decision, we can still waver a little bit back and forth. Should I do it? Should I not do it? Is this the right thing for me? And this card speaks very much to having the inner strength and the self-discipline to maybe carry through. Because I know some Aries tend to overstay in relationships because they don't want to deal with a headache. They don't want to deal with the drama. Maybe like 3 months ago, you already know this is not the right relationship for you, but you just haven't quite brought yourself to do the breakup talk yet. And I think this card is literally saying, have a plan. If you know the person you're breaking up with is prone to drama, maybe, and if you guys live together, maybe get your bags packed, have friends on standby who's going to come and help you move out, so your partner cannot make a bigger scene than I guess allowed. Or maybe have a breakup talk outside at a coffee shop, in a restaurant, so the person hopefully cannot go completely ballistic. I know a lot of times Aries are not known for your patience, and a lot of times you make decisions and you sort of just want to go for it. There's very much an energy of have a plan. Plan things out before you pull the trigger. Plan things out before you just, go kabook and this is what I'm going to do. Do a bit more prep work. So if you guys live together, you decide to move out, make sure you find that place and I guess have most of your stuff ready to go when you say, I'm moving out. So the person doesn't turn around, kick you out, you have no place to stay that night. Or maybe you just can't stand that job anymore. You're like, oh my God, this is like the bane of my existence. Get your resume ready, get a couple of interviews, maybe have a job offer lined up before you hand your resignation. Even if it's a job you can't stand, it's worth holding on to a little bit until, it depends on what your situation is. If you're completely financially secure and you just don't care anymore and you feel like this job is like destroying your soul, then of course just, do what you can, leave. But like a lot of us, if you need that job and need that stability, then, wait out a little bit, have a plan in place before you pull the trigger, so you don't end up regretting it. And the advice card I'm looking at here is there's very much an energy of look within. Because I know a lot of you are very, very outgoing. You have a lot of friends. You have different parties you go to. There's a lot you want to chit chat and talk to friends and take trips and go and have fun. I think in certain times, in certain stages of our life, we all need blocks of time where we can sit for a minute and have a conversation with ourselves. I think during those conversations, certain things are or will be revealed to us. There's very much an energy of, you're a social butterfly, you have a lot of friends around you all the time. Even when you're stressed out, all your friends know about it, everybody wants to talk to you about it, everybody wants to help you. I think there's a certain element here where maybe post-breakup or post-move or even perhaps before, take that 30 minutes, take that hour, take a walk by yourself, read a book on your own, listen to some jazz music by yourself. Just take that small block of time and really look within, and your guiding light will almost always reveal itself to you. That's going to help you take to the next segment of your journey, the next segment of your trip. Because I know a lot of times when we're surrounded by people and excitement and drama and all this excitement and things happening, it's really hard for us to even have the time to breathe and think about, is this what I really want to do? Am I making this decision just because I feel like it now, or is it part of the stepping stone of my master plan? And I think, especially, you know, around the holidays when everybody's chippering, things are just happening, I think there's certain element, or I should say certain days where we could all benefit from having that conversation with ourselves, where you can sort of talk things out and then figure out what is it you want to do next. And that you will, one, appreciate the headspace you will get from those conversations, and two, your path and your next best steps or next step will become a little bit more illuminating, more clear to you. And there is definitely also a a signal that certain balances are needed, because I think Aries can be very passionate people, and there's definitely a certain group of Aries that are just like all or nothing and go all out. They love hard, they live hard, they party with friends hard, and they're all about live, 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 live. And I think that lifestyle in general could open you guys, make you guys more vulnerable for burnout, especially in the middle of COVID when everybody's already stressed out. And I feel like the clutter and the noise and all the stress from our family, from the news, from just like being alive, it could be just too much. I mean, like some days I really think a lot of my Aries friends could just like either leap over the edge on their own or get pushed over the edge because they're just so busy. So this goes back to, I think, take those 5-10 minutes every day. You don't even need to do anything drastic. Just like have a cup of coffee by yourself, you know, like just sit quietly for like even 30 seconds to 5 minutes will probably give you the inner peace, as well as like the balance that I think a lot of us are truly, truly, truly craving, And there's very much also a suggestion of trying to figure out ways to get the balance and be practical. Because I know, because Aries, you know, talk loud, live hard, have so many friends, I think the word excess sometimes can be associated with Aries. So if you're able to quiet your mind and have those much needed alone time, the universe will help you get a better balance of your emotions, and there's less tendency of sort of going over the edge or saying things you'll regret, or going to the extreme in a situation that doesn't necessarily call for it. And I think easy peasy, more balanced energy could be quite beneficial for you, especially in the next couple of months. And there's also a suggestion here of, have you heard the phrase like, don't make a deal with the devil, or don't make an agreement with someone or something that you can't get out of? And so for example, maybe you've had it with your current partner, you just can't wait to get out, and you went online, you found a place. It's not ideal, it's a little too expensive, and maybe it's a little too far from your job, but you're like, oh, the heck with it, I just can't take my current situation. I'm done stressing, I'm just gonna do it and move out, and not taking my time and sort of just leap into it. And then once you get into that situation, moving to your apartment, maybe you'll realize, oh my God, you know, this company is killing me, it's way too far. Or, geez, I really didn't want to spend this much money on an apartment just because I want to get out so badly. I just want to get out of my last situation so badly. Now I leaped into another situation that I am stuck in and I don't enjoy. And that's very much sort of like a caution. Don't become like a cautionary tale. Just take your time to think things through. Have a little bit of balance, and don't be too extreme, and don't go over the edge. Don't like leap into a situation before you're sure. And don't get yourself into a situation where you'll feel stuck. Because whatever you're trying to do, I can see that is definitely of some importance to you. You're making a pretty big decision. You have been, actually, I should say, contemplating about making a pretty big decision recently. And I think the energy with that will linger into at least, January, February, possibly beginning of March. Maybe I think for the next 3 months, you'll take the time for some of you to fully execute. And that advice is very much about take your time, take some time out for yourself. Have a little bit more balance and do things with patience, one step at a time. And definitely do not get in bed with the devil. Do not get into a situation you cannot get out of. Don't sign a contract without thinking it through and through, because you don't want to be stuck in a situation that a year from now you're like, holy cow, what on earth did I do? That seems to be like a very predominant energy, and that's why I'm really, really harping on it. Let me repeat it again. Do not make a deal with the devil. Don't get into a situation or any major situation over the next 3 months without thinking it through, without talking to family, without talking to friends. Everybody have that one friend who is very logical, they're good at analyzing things through and through. Talk to that friend first. And if you have a good friend who's an attorney, who has some legal background, certainly run all contracts through your attorney. Get your attorney to review anything before you sign anything major. And Aries, this is what I see for you guys. I've always said, energy is fluid. There's only 12 signs in the world. Not everything I talk about here will apply to everyone. So take whatever you think is useful and apply it to yourself. And I really hope, I can see that a lot of things are happening in your life, because sometimes when I do readings for cards or interpretations, and energy seems to be flowing pretty calmly. Other times when I see certain spread, there just seems to be like major decisions, major crossroads, major developments happening. And this just seems to be one of those situations where some of you are making bigger decisions. So I just want to caution you to take your time before you make any major decision. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you celebrate Christmas, I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone who celebrate the New Year. And please subscribe, like my video, and I hope to see you guys again very soon. Have a fantastic day, everyone.